People, we're back and we're in the car. Did you miss us? We missed you. And welcome back to our channel where we talk about relationship related topics. So like, share, and subscribe. We miss you and we love you so much and we want to hear from you. So always provide feedback and comments. And if you have any questions, please submit them and we'll feature them on a video. I'm Carla.
I'm Isaiah.
And today is going to be juicy because we are going to look at and ponder why or what are the real reasons relationships fail. Do you want to go first?
Lack of communication, the talking. You can go from a lot of talking, to what you're used to or however your dynamic is. And then all of a sudden your talking goes from a lot to not so much to non-existent. You definitely want to keep an eye on that, and you don't want to be a couple who's used to talking all the time and sharing information to all of a sudden now you're keeping secrets, and all of a sudden now you're doing the most. I'm not gonna say you're doing the most, but you're doing things uncharacteristically out of your nature. Yeah, that's what I would say. Just that there's a lot more factors, that go into, why they don't work and, why they break down. But for me, it's the communication and talking, because that's a big important factor. That's really important. And if you feel as if that you can't communicate anymore, then you got, either you should say something or you got to say something, or you got to say, you can't just not be communicating and just keep going through as if everything is okay, and everything is not okay, and then your partner knows everything is not okay because it's not a part of your normal, natural nature of how you guys carry yourselves. So whatever is natural and then certain things start to become unnatural and they start to seem very out of characteristic of what's going on, you got to check on that. I would say that.
Yeah, I agree that communication is really important. I think I would go beyond that and say comprehension. So when you're not understanding each other and there just seems to be like a block, even if you are communicating or you are still going through the motions of every single day and being together, but there's like a lack of connection and there's a lack of comprehension. And I see that happen a lot where there's just a breakdown, and no matter what the person does or what the person says, they kind of irritate you a little bit. Anything they do kind of gets under your skin. Anything they say, you're not really listening to understand, you're listening to respond or misunderstand. But I think for me, the number one sign is when people stop having sex and don't want that physical intimacy and proximity. So one person maybe is in the living room, and as soon as that other person goes into the living room, then that person leaves, or there's a desire not to be close to that person. And I think sometimes it even happens like subconsciously, where you're not even understanding that that's happening, but just not close. That the physical intimacy fizzles out, like you said, the communication fizzles out, the lack of connection. But I also see that with couples that have been together for a very long time, and then they don't pay attention to it or address it. They just kind of like chalk it up to like, well, we've been together for a long time, and you don't really check in and say like, hey, what's going on? Because you just chalk it up to they're doing their thing, going through their day, I'm going through mine. So what do you think is important, that if you do notice that disconnection, how to bring it back or at least address it?
Bring it up. I don't think that, I don't know if there's a right and wrong time or right and wrong place. Forgive me. Maybe there is, but you have to find that balance in time and space to bring that, to bring that up and sit down and talk about it like two adults and figure it out. the more you let it linger, the worse it gets. The more you don't bring anything up, the more you let things slide, the more you just let things go as if it is what it is, then it's going to be what it is until you say something and bring it up and change it. Other than that, it's going to just ride out the way it's going to ride out, and it's not going to get any better, I'll tell you that. But for the most part, I'd say just whether if you do it, whether if you don't want to do it, because it's an uncomfortable conversation that people don't want to have, but you have to do it anyway.
What would you say?
Say, we got to talk.
Talk about what?
We got to talk. We got to talk about me and you and where we stand and what's going on. Because this ain't working. This ain't working. This can't do it. I don't know how you say it. I don't. It's just.
But what if you don't want it to work? What if, because I think sometimes talking about it, I get what you're saying, but to me, it's more about rationalizing, yeah, that's what I should do. But what if it's just not working?
I don't know any other way to say. I don't.
I think for me, it's I'm going to tell the person, I don't want to be
Pictionary games. There's none of that. There's no heads up. There's no imposter. There's none of that. You just tell the person, yo, this ain't working. This is not for me. However they take, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the right and wrong way to say.
No, but I'm asking, what would you do in your relationship, or you have done in your relationship? I just said it. Not hypothetical.
I just brought it up. I'm like, hey, this is not working. This is not working for me. I don't know how.
But what if they're what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
Then that's just me and you, as a couple, as it pertains to this relationship, is not working. This is not working for me. This is not working. So if there's a way we can find a way to make it work, let's find some ways. But other than that, for me, I can't do this.
I think for me, it's really helpful to understand what's going on.
Well, yeah, you can't just be well, I can't do it. You have to tell the person what you have to say.
Hey, what's going on? I
what
noticed
the problem is. You can't just be oh, this ain't working. They're gonna be what are you talking about? This ain't working.
Or check in with them and say, what are you going through? I noticed that you're less connected, or I noticed that you seem more stressed, or I noticed that you're more on edge. Checking in. Do you think that helps?
That can help. Yeah, most definitely.
Or
that helps. Because you can't just assume certain things. You got to ask questions. You can't assume. Because the more you assume, you're gonna be dead wrong. No, you got to ask the person, and then from there you take it from there, and then you talk, and then you find out what the problem is. Tell them what the problem. Find the base.
Yeah.
And work through it, and then take it from there and work through that. If you can work through it, cool. If you can't, then you can't, and you have to.
But do you think people are honest, or I guess what I'm asking is that
it depends on the person.
This is real talk with Carla and Isaiah.
It depends on the person and their genuinity of, if they're I'm making it a word. It just depends on the person. If you have a tough time expressing how you feel to the truth, you probably shouldn't be in relationships, because you're not going to be able to express. I understand it's tough to express how you feel and use your words, but I think there's sometimes you should be able to just get straight to the point and just say it. This is what it is, and name it.
I agree. I just don't think that some people are able to be vulnerable like that. Even if you tell them, they might not. I think it depends on the person's attachment style too, where some people in relationships, they really need to find something else before they can end that relationship that they're in. So they'll go along with it and be oh no, nothing's fine, or okay, we'll try to work it out. Mm-hmm. But for me, I already know that a relationship is not going to work out way before.
Yeah.
And then I'm just waiting for the perfect time to.
I would just be no. I can't wait for a perfect time. So what have you done in the past? There'll be no days as a perfect time. There's no such thing as a perfect time. However you feel, because if you don't do it however you feel, that feeling is going to keep lingering, and there is no perfect time. It's just either you do it or you don't do it.
Yeah, I understand. But what if that person's not ready to hear that?
then you have to respect that person's space.
That's what I'm
You gotta
saying.
respect the space
So
sometimes.
I have to be like, okay, is this person even in the right space to be able to comprehend what I'm going to tell them? And do you think that some relationships go on too far where it is irreparable, but that conditioning is telling us like, well, let's try to see if we can fix it? Because sometimes trying to fix it, I'm sorry guys, is worse. And it just makes things worse. It makes things last longer than they should. I don't like this time.
It's good for other people to hear it. Y'all should hear it.
I'll let it out that.
But it's a good topic for people to know and a good topic for people to hear, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there who are just not happy and they don't know how to express how they feel, and they go each and every day just feeling a certain way, and
So do you think it's always worth it to try to work it out? Or what if you know deep down this is not working out, but maybe that other person has no idea that you feel that way, and then they're like, well, let's at least try it, even though you know that it's failing and that there's no return? Would you still try?
Yes, you always still have to try. You still have to try. I think if you are the individual who's like, nah, I'm good. I'm not saying giving up, but you're like, no, I'm not. No. Like, trying ain't gonna help. Therapy's not gonna help. Like, no, I need to go do this. But I still think you should give it a try and figure, give it a try and figure it out. At least give it a chance to give it a try. If you don't give it a try, you just, I'm not going to say you're failing. You're just giving it up. Like, all right, cool. But at least try to see if you can salvage. If you can't salvage, then, of course, you go one way. You go your own separate ways. You feel me? But always try. Always try, because you don't know.
Try for what, though? Because the other person wants you to try, or that's the right thing to do? I completely disagree. If I'm not feeling someone and the relationship is failing, I'm not trying. I'm going to tell the person that it's not working out and that I need to go my separate way.
Right. I'm
just asking, like, is the trying,
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying to try because that's what they would want? That's what society is telling you to do? Like,
try if you care.
If you care. Right.
You care.
Right. But
That's
if you know, my question was,
but
if you know.
No, you're not
Right.
trying. You're like, no, I'm not trying. Like I said before, you're not trying. You're not trying to go through this. You're not trying to, you're like, no, I'm done. I'm done.
Unpopular opinion. I'm going to say this. I've always felt this way. I've had experiences that have made me feel this certain way about this thing. I feel like when your relationship is failing, when you know your relationship is failing, is when you start to consider couples therapy. I think that couples therapy is the biggest indicator of your relationship is in shambles. And a very small percentage of people that go to couples therapy, it actually works for them. And this is coming from a therapist. So I think for me, that couples therapy, again, there's a very small percentage that it may work, but those people really, there's other things going on individually with them. And then when they come together with the therapist has to be very, very good and very, very aware and very, very conscious of their relationship dynamics and how it works. If those things aren't in place, I think couples therapy is detrimental to the relationship. And I think that it makes it worse. That's my unpopular opinion based on my experience and based on what I've seen. If you have to go to couples therapy, your relationship is
too much stuff.
Maybe not salvageable.
Yeah, it's too much stuff. That means that someone, whoever it is, that means someone is just like, I think once you reach that point, I agree. It's like you're already done. You know what I mean? Because you need therapy?
And you have to go to an external person.
No.
Because it's that energy between you that you really need to resolve, right? It could be that there's anger between you. There could be resentments. I don't know. There's different levels to why people are at a certain...
Where they are.
point in their relationship where they're considering not being together anymore, right? So obviously there's the egregious stage where it's like adultery, cheating, stepping outside your relationship. Also like addictions, where someone's addicted to a substance or gambling, or addicted to alcohol, sex, sort of like behavioral health conditions that they might not be in control of, right? And then there's the middle levels where it's like maybe financial things going on that could be salvageable, could be workoutable, depends on what's going on. And then there's just like at the baseline where the chemistry is fizzling out, or one partner is maybe growing in a direction that the other one is not, and there's like resentment there, or you just grow apart because you were different people when you got together, and now you're different people at this stage of the game.
Grow apart.
Yeah. But I think for couples therapy, if it's that like 2 levels, it's almost like the worst idea ever. I think it drives people apart. And I think that you almost take on this persona of trying to make it work for the therapist.
Right.
Or to be able, or it'll work and then it'll be like, well, I'm going to go tell the therapist you did this. You know what I mean? Because you have that person in the middle. And by no means am I saying that people shouldn't get therapy. I'd be the last person to say that. I'm talking specifically about our experience. We are not providers. We are not giving you advice on what to do with your relationship. This is purely for entertainment purposes, and you take what you need and you leave what you don't want. So we're not giving you advice. That's a disclaimer. We're just talking about what our experiences are. And if that helps you, cool. If not, please seek professional support. Anyhow, okay. But yeah, that's one of the biggest scams I've ever seen, is people staying in couples therapy, and it actually gets worse, especially if you're dealing with someone who has like a narcissistic personality disorder, because then they know how to like navigate that process with the therapist, where the other person might even feel like, hey, what's really going on, and feel worse. But that's what I'm saying. For me, it depends on how salvageable my relationship is. If I know deep down I'm not attracted to this person anymore, we're going in different directions, I don't feel the same way, I don't feel the connection, that baseline like chemistry, there's no amount of talking that's going to make me get that back. You know what I mean? Like if someone is like, if I get the ick or I feel cringy around them.
Yeah, you can't, because then you're forced. Yeah, because then you're like, well, and it's like if that spark is gone, then you can't force anyone to bring it back. That's something you have. That's something within you. And if that spark, or like you said, if that fizzles out, then that's tough. Like that's tough. Like I can't be like, oh, get that spark back again, like me again. No, because there's so many factors that already happen for that spark to already fizzle out. There's a reason why that spark is fizzled out. It ain't fizzled out because it's just fizzled out. No, it's like that for a reason, for whatever reason it is. It's so you can't be like, you can't force that.
But what if the other person's like, what if you feel that way, but then the other person's like still madly in love with you and wants you still and things like that? Like, what do you do? How do you communicate? Like, this is just not for me anymore. I know that you're loving me down and you want me, baby.
Just like that. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know. That's
well, think about like experiences that you've had in the past where you've been in a relationship where someone really wanted you really bad, but you didn't want them. Like, what did you do? Not hypothetically, like, what did you do in your real life?
I told them.
So what did you say? I guess that's what I'm trying to ask from a male's perspective. What did you say to the partner to help our community navigate such things without feeling guilt? Because I think that's a big thing. The problem for me is that society, especially in relationships, they've conditioned us to feel bad for the other person. And I don't mean compassion or empathy, because those are different things than pity, right? I don't want someone to pity me and be with me because they pity me. I want them to have compassion for me, like, wow, I understand where you're coming from. I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, where I am in my life, it's about me. It's not about the other person. When I was younger, it was like, oh my God, I don't want to hurt their feelings and stuff like that. And of course, I'm not going to be like inhumane, but I got to do what's right for me so that I could be happy. And maybe it's like me personally, but I'm not staying in a relationship because I don't want to hurt the other person's feelings.
Yeah, I just told the person.
I gotta go.
I was like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Like, I understand, you know, you may have certain feelings for me, but I can't reciprocate the same thing back. I can't. And that's what it is. That's what I said. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't. I don't have my level of feelings is not on the same level as yours is. And I'm not trying to disrespect you. Not trying to make you upset, not trying to make you angry, but this ain't for me. I can't do it. I can't. I just can't.
I think some people are going to think that you're like lying, but that's how he really is, actually.
I'm serious.
He would tell someone like that.
I'm not going to sugarcoat you, but I'm not going to be rude to you, but I'm going to let you know that I'm not good with it, and I'm going to let you know that this is what it is. And I'm not going to say you need to make a decision, but I'm going to let you know that I'm not with it. And
what did they say when you say that?
I mean, you got to respect that. Either you do or you don't.
No, but what did they say in actuality? What did they say to you?
I don't remember what they said, but
were they upset?
It was very upset. The other person's not going to be cool with it because they like you so much, you know, and for the simple fact that you don't reciprocate the same thing.
You a heartbreaker?
You know, that's a tough thing. Like, I've been through that too, where I've liked someone a lot and they didn't feel the same way back. This is, you know, and
yeah, I've never gone through that. So, I'm sorry.
You know, I've been on that side and I've been on the other side, you know, so it's just a matter of just saying it, and it's not going to end and not going to go the way you think it's going to go. It's not going to be all meadows and prairie, you know, Little House on the Prairie type stuff. Hell no. You know, there's going to be some words, there's going to be some attitude, there's going to be some, because it's human feelings, human emotions. You're human. It's life. So
you wouldn't let it drag on. You would tell them.
I've told the person.
I think that's more respectful, right? I think it's disrespectful to drag it on.
I've told the person. I said, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I can't. I don't know, you know, and I'm not going to go back on what I said, and I'm not going to go back on my feelings. You know, how it's hard to do things without being rude or sounding rude or being rude.
You noticed that they had more feelings for you? Did they have to tell you? Because I think sometimes, especially with men, they can string women along and, like, you know.
I knew with me, like, I wasn't feeling it no more. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not feeling it.
But did they have to prompt you, or?
No, I just went up to the person and told them. I was like, I'm sorry. I can't do this. I'm sorry.
And then there's other situations where the person, this has happened to me, where I didn't necessarily think we were in a relationship. I guess the other person did. And then that's even more awkward and challenging to navigate.
That's more than awkward to think.
Where it's like, wait a minute.
Think you're in a relationship,
I didn't know we were
just, like, you chilling? Like, that's really awkward. Like, that's awkward.
You don't know what to say because you're like, I didn't know you felt that way.
I'd be like, we're not in a relationship. I'll tell you. And it's funny because it sounds rude. It sounds very, very rude.
It does, but
because
I know it's
I'm
not
a straightforward person, and I'm not going to BS you because I care about my life and I care about the things that I like. I'm just not going to sit there and be about something that I don't want to be about. I'm not going to do it. Now, you cry and you go through a whole bunch of stuff. That's cool. You know, you'll be okay, you know, but if that's what you got to do to get through it, then that's what you got to do to get through it. I'm not trying to be a jerk, not trying to be, it's just not going to end the way you think it's going to go. It's not going to go the way you want it to go. You know, you just got to put it out there and ride it out and see where it goes from there. You know, however it goes is however it goes. There's no script. You know, there's none of that. It's just you and that person talking it out, you know?
Yeah. So there's many levels to this, is what I'm hearing. And so What would be your advice for someone who may be going through a similar situation, maybe different scenarios? What would be your advice for them to start in order to address a relationship that might be on the rocks?
Write down everything that's bothering you, or write down everything that's going wrong. Well, write down the issues, the main issues that you're having an issue. Don't write down, oh, you don't do the dishes, oh, you're not doing. That's petty. Don't write down the petty. Write down what's real. Write down the real, so you don't forget what you want to say and what point you're trying to get through, you're trying to convey. Just write down how you feel and what's really bothering you. You know, like you said earlier, I don't know if there's a right, but you got to find a time to do it. And once you bring it up, put it out there. Once you put it, as long as you have to put it out there. As long as you put it out there, then it's either up to that other person to come, to be like, okay, let's talk about it, or the other person gonna be like, I don't want to talk about it, and find some other mechanism to cope with it. Because a lot of people don't want to talk about it, and they don't want to go through it and do all that. So they're going to find other ways to avoid it and be like, oh, can we not talk about this? Can we just do, and it's like, no, we got to talk about it. Because if not, then I'm going to sit here and look at you crazy each and every day. And I'm not trying to do that. So.
Well, someone's not going to tell me that I'm not going to talk about it. Like, that's number one. If you don't want me to talk about it, I'm still going to talk about it because I need you to know. And for me, it's a little different where I'm not going to rationalize it and be so much in my head about it. I'm going to really ask myself and my feelings and say, how do I feel about this person? And for me, it's about, 5 years from now, can I envision myself with this person? And if the answer, if my intuition, I go by my intuition. If my intuition is telling me it's a hard no, it's a hard no. No matter what the consequences is, I'm letting that person know, and I'm moving on. Now, if my intuition is like, oh, I can't really tell, then I might give it more thought and some time until that inner knowing kicks in and says, yeah, you got to, and usually that does happen, where something will happen of like, yeah, I'm done. Because I'm the type of person that it takes me a while to get to that point, right? And I do give people a lot of chances and I do try, but it's not me. It's like an internal feeling that comes to me and is like, all right, honey, this is done.
Yeah, I don't need a situation to happen. It's just a feeling for me to go, yeah, I'm not doing this. I don't need someone to like come home.
I don't need a reason though. Like, I don't need, this is why, and I need to talk to you about this is why. I'm not feeling it.
I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it anymore. I'm sorry if this is not what you imagined. I hope that we could stay on good terms and like not have any bad blood between us.
Right.
I am not a person that wants to be friends with my exes. That's not me. I've never been like that. I never probably will be like that. But I also don't want any animosity. I'm not going to bring the smoke. I mean, if someone brings the smoke, I might have to bring the smoke. But that's not my character. I don't want any drama. But that's how I know, is like there's something inside of me that's just like, no. And when I've ignored that, it's gotten worse. And then something happens where like then I'm forced to be like, it's like a stop. It's like a boundary that's like, because if I don't tell them and if I don't get out of the relationship, I start to resent them.
Yeah, you're not gonna do it.
I start to get really turned off. And then when I get to that point, there's no coming back. Now, what do you think about spinning the block? Like ending a relationship and then for whatever reason, do you think it's healthy to go back to people that you've ended relationships with?
I don't. I feel like you do that, you go back in time. You're not moving. I feel like you're going back. You're taking steps backwards, because if that's what you wanted to do, then you should have been with that person. You know what I mean? Like, you should have been there. Like, I feel like you're not progressing forward into more things. For you to go back, that means you're going back. You're not progressing forward. So I wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like, I would not, because then you're missing out on a chance to, because then you're going back to something old. You're going back to old stuff. You don't want to go to old stuff.
You want that old thing back?
You would want to go on to something new. Like, I wouldn't want nothing old. Why would I want something old? I don't want old. That's like me.
What if the person
That's like me throwing away an old pair of shoes and I go, oh, I don't want these new Nikes. I want those old beat up Nikes.
But what if the person's like, I've changed. I'm a different person.
Nah, fam. Then you can go tell them. Then you can go be new for somebody else. There's 8 billion people out there. You can go be new for that person.
So you're really harsh. You're really like,
nah. I'm on to something. I'm done. Like, once, that's almost
back
like
off.
Someone who, that's like being with someone, you know, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, that's like being with someone who doesn't like to sleep with the light off. You know what I mean? And you got to deal with that. But then you go to someone new, that what doesn't work. But then you want to go back to the person who don't want to sleep with the lights off. Nah, that ain't working. Like,
you just put a sleeping mask on.
No. Go find something new. Go find someone that's more compatible with you. You know, and, you know, go find something new, or don't find something new, but don't go back to the old. To go back to the old means that you don't know how to find something new. It means you don't want to find something new. You don't want to grow. You don't want to go out there to put yourself out there to see what's up. You're comfortable with being with, like, if you're comfortable with that, then I'm not comfortable with that. Like, no, I would not go back to anything old. No.
Wow.
That's like saying, oh, I don't want to buy this new house. I want to go back to that old raggedy apartment I had. What? Nobody want that old raggedy apartment. That's why I left it in the first place. It was old and raggedy. I want a new apartment. I want a new condo. I want a new crib. I want a new townhouse. I want something new, completely new, something that I like, something that fits me, and something that I can be a part of. Hopefully that can work. But if that's not what it is, then still, that doesn't mean that you got to sit there and suffer. No, it just means that you haven't found something that's your fit. So until you find your fit, you know, be who you are, but don't go back to the old people. Never go back to the old, because going back to the old means that you ain't got you don't have any swag.
That's not true.
You ain't got no game.
I don't think that's true.
You know, and you're used to that. And I feel like if you should have stayed with that. If that's what it was, you should have never left that, because you still want that and you want to go back to that, which is crazy to me. But for some people,
so you've never done that.
But for some people,
so
no.
you've never done that.
No, but
so
for
you've
certain
never
people,
you've never left a relationship and then went back.
Nope. And so for me, that's why for me, I can't, because once I'm gone, or once I feel like I can't, no, because if I go back, then it's still going to be the same way I felt when I left you. It's going to be the same way I felt when because it's not, I don't see how anything could have gotten any better from the time that you left the old and you come back to the old. Like, what's gotten better? Like, have you changed? Have you done anything? Because I know I've done A, B, and C. What have you done? You know, but if that other person has changed drastically and you feel like, okay, sometimes, you know, things can work that way. Sometimes the old can probably, what's the word when you, not rejuvenate. What's the word when you,
I think we get it.
Like,
I think you
if
don't,
you
you
can
don't want to
upgrade
spin the
yourself
block.
from the last time, if you can upgrade yourself from the last time and be better from what you were before, cool. You never know, it could be cool, but I still wouldn't go back to the old.
So you don't believe in spinning around the block.
That's
spinning
just
the block,
That's
whatever they say.
There's a reason why I left you, and there's a reason why I ain't coming back.
I don't know. I don't necessarily believe that you've left a relationship and never got back.
I've never came back. Anybody I've left. And that doesn't know that I've left. I've never came back.
For me, I have done that. And it was the worst mistake that I've ever made in my life. And there's a reason why I left that relationship. And I went back because I felt bad for the person. And I I was guilt tripped into thinking that I was breaking up my family. And there was a lot of shame around that. Like, oh, I don't want my kids to come from a broken home, things like that. I actually got a divorce and then went back with that person. And it was the worst mistake. And I do not recommend it. Because like you said, you have to remember why it didn't work out. And then when you get back together, it's like a second honeymoon period.
Not gonna change.
And then,
that has not left.
Or some people will want to get you back just so that they can make you miserable.
That too.
And I'm not down with that. I agree. I think you're settling, even if you
That's
convince
the word I'm looking for. Don't settle. You know why?
Yeah.
Because you don't believe in yourself. You don't believe
you can do better.
You don't believe you can do better. You don't believe someone else out there wants you. You don't believe someone else out there you don't believe that.
Yeah.
And that's why you go back to the old. And that's why you go to the new to prove to yourself.
It's a self-esteem thing.
And
it's definitely a self-esteem thing because it's not really, and nothing is about the other person. It's always about you.
It's about you.
And so what are 3 tips that you would give someone if that is the case? Like they start questioning their worth or self-esteem and not feeling like, maybe I should just stay in this relationship because I've been in it for a long time, or, because I also feel that you could still be in love with the person, right? Because being in love with someone, or you could still love them, but being in love is different. My thing is I can love someone, but if I don't like you, it's not going to work. And that's the thing. I've left relationships where I still loved the person, but I didn't like being around them. And I was just like, no. You know why? Because I like myself more than I like you. And I am the most important thing to myself. Self-love is so important to me. And it took me a long time to realize that I believe, like you said, there's 8 billion people in the world. I believe that there's the right people at the right time. And sometimes relationships are just like life, where it's like a cycle. And once that cycle is over, no matter what you do, nothing's going to work because it's not meant to continue. And I'm okay with that. A lot of people would look at that like, wow, you've had a lot of relationships, long-term relationships. Does that mean you're unstable? No, it doesn't mean that. It means that I'm actually not tolerating something that I'm not okay with. I used to think, and I come from parents who were from a generation you marry the person that you only marry one person, you only sleep with one person, and it's an indication of instability if you get a divorce or that you leave somebody in a relationship and go start another one. I think that is the biggest societal scam ever. That is not true. I'm not even sure if human beings are meant to be monogamous. That's another topic for another day.
I would say there's people that got 8 wives. Okay?
Sometimes they're very happy.
Wives.
Yeah.
Think about that. 8 wives. And you mean to tell me you have a problem with one person and No.
Or you mean to tell me we're wired to be with just one person?
Right. And you got people
for our whole freaking
lives. And we're supposed to, and we're over here dealing with one person, but this person got 8 people and they got 16 children?
Plus,
what are we talking about?
It depends on your age and maturity level and what you're going through too. In my 20s, I didn't even know what the heck I was. I didn't even know who I was. I didn't have that sense of self-actualization that I do now, where I know who I am and I know what I want and I like who I am. Back then, I didn't even like myself. So how could I be in a relationship? I don't even know what love was because I didn't love myself. If I don't love myself, how can I know how to love someone else?
That's right. And I would say, for my advice for anyone, I don't have a top 3 like you said. I think what you said was perfect. I have a top number 1. And like you said, it's self-care. It's self-love.
Self-love.
If you don't like it, if you don't love yourself, you're gonna just be rim-rodded through everything. You're gonna go through it and accept everything and do everything, and you'll lose yourself. And when that happens, you're done. And I'll say this too: a lot of people out there, they're not relationship type people. A lot of people are not relationship people. they're not the relationship type. They try it just to see if that's, if they can work within the confines and parameters of it. They, to see if that's something. But a lot of people, they like to be with other people. They like their own
or themselves.
Time. They like themselves, and they like, and when they get in a relationship, they feel confined. They feel bottled.
And I don't think that's a wrong thing. I don't think that's a bad thing if you want to be with yourself, or if you decide not to be in a relationship and date many people. I don't think that's wrong.
I just think that if you know you're not a relationship person, don't
get into
Don't do it. Yeah. Don't do it. If you know you're not, don't try it.
But I think some people
But you could find the right
that.
person. You never know. You might find the right person. You're like, yo, what?
I have to say, especially with men, this happens with men a lot. And they get a bad rap, but a lot of men or like male friends will tell me, like, oh yeah, but I told her that I didn't want a relationship. Or my female friends would be like, yeah, he always says that he doesn't want a relationship, but I still like him and stuff like that. But he told you. Sure. So why wouldn't you believe him? Right. And people think like, oh, I can trick him into being in a relationship, or I'm different.
Like, no,
believe people what they tell you when you first meet them. They're telling you the truth. And if someone tells you like, hey, I don't really think I'm a relationship person, I'm not looking for that, I'm not looking for anything seriously, and then you somehow get into a rhythm with them, and then you guys get exclusive and stuff like that, and then they start doing unrelationship things, that's not necessarily their fault.
They told you.
And a lot of it happens where there's no labels, but the girl thinks like, or sometimes the guy, oh yeah, that's my man, or that's my woman, when you haven't really established that. That's why when we got together, as silly as it may sound, we asked each other like what is this? After a while, I think it was like a year and some change, where one of us was like, what are we doing? And I think for a little bit it was like, I don't know, we're just having fun. And then it got more serious, and it was like, okay, are we like together? Sometimes people never have that conversation and never put that boundary or draw that line of like, yeah, we are together, or no, I don't think so. And then people just assume, oh, we're in a relationship, and then you're bad if you don't give me what I want in terms of what I thought I wanted in a relationship. Right. People don't read minds.
Miscommunication. There's no communication.
You have to tell people what you want, but you also can't, because that's manipulation and codependency. When you kind of swindle yourself into someone's life, they don't told you that they don't want a relationship, that they're not a relationship person.
Not cool,
and then you hold them accountable for being in a relationship. At that point, they might even like you to the point where they don't want to let you go. The sex is good. The vibes are good. You have a baseline of a friendship. So they might not want to let you go completely, because in their mind, you guys are just chilling. What do they call those? Situationships? I don't know what they call them anymore. But long story short, what I would suggest, my top 3 is self-love, communication, and self-awareness. Be aware of what you really want. And you can only do that if you love yourself. That's number 1. So if you love yourself, and if you don't know if you do or not, that's okay. It's that self-awareness to be like, I don't know what I really want. I think that if you don't know what you really want, don't go into a relationship. There's no rush. I think people are so like pressed to be in a relationship because it looks good on Instagram. Let me tell you, nobody's going to put their lowlights on Instagram and TikTok about how their relationship is not doing well. Everything you see is very well contained on that platform or other platforms to make an impression on you. And that impression is most 9 times out of 10, people are not going to be like, oh yeah, let me open the doors to my relationship and let everyone see how terrible it is. It's going to be the highlights.
It's the false fantasy.
Let me tell you something. I know people that put things on social media about their relationships, and they're not even with that person like that. They don't even like each other. It's all for show. So that's number 1. Stop looking at social media as a guide and as a standard of what love is. If you don't love yourself, you don't know what love is. So start at baseline. And that starts with going within and healing yourself. Why? Because I find that when you lack self-love, and I mean completely like, I'm the shit, I love myself, not in a narcissistic way, but like you love yourself, you know what you want, and you are not going to skimp on those requirements and standards and expectations that you have for what you want in a partner. But it goes further than that. Until you love yourself, you will not attract someone that loves you. It's impossible. Like attracts like. So it's not that that person is bad and that person did this and that. You're not vibrating at a certain frequency to attract the people that love themselves. If they love themselves and you don't, they're not going to be attracted to you. No. It's like being in different universes. You know what I mean? So like, if you want to attract people that are loving, compassionate, empathic, even like abundance provider, whatever you want, you have to be that. You have to have that energy in you so that you can attract that. And if you're finding that your relationships there's a pattern to them, like, oh, this always happens, look at that pattern and interrupt it, because that's information that your energy is giving you and telling you, like, if this keeps happening, who's the common denominator? Who's always there when it's happening in these relationships, right? It's you. It's you. There's a saying that, oh, whenever these things happen, I'm always there. Yeah, because it's you. You're the common denominator. Go within, heal yourself, and do that without being in a relationship. Date yourself. I used to take myself to the movies. I used to take myself on dates and stuff like that. And I went through a horrible divorce. So did he, before we met each other, obviously. And one thing that really drew me to him is I was like, oh, because at first I was like, this guy is like really simple and boring and like just has these routines, like, but he really enjoyed life and the little things. And then one day it clicked. I was like, this guy really loves himself. And I was on my self-love journey at that time. There's no one. Yes, you do. You think highly of yourself. Like, you love yourself.
I do.
That's okay. I don't know why people think it's selfish to love themselves. It's not.
But I don't think like I'm the shit or I'm cocky.
Why shouldn't I think that I'm the best thing since sliced bread? This is literally my life. You know how they say, like, you're not the center of the universe? Yes, I am. This is my life. And I spent so many years like pushing that away, like, oh no, little old me, everyone's better than me. No, they're not. I'm the best thing that's happened to me because this is my life. I'm here to live my life. I am a human being having this wonderful spiritual experience here on earth. And I came here as myself, naked to the world, and I'm going to leave that way too. Nobody's coming with me. So think about it like that. Like, what do you want? And while you're working on yourself and really healing those wounds that made you not love yourself, yes, you can still like think of the ideal partner. It's very, very important to visualize what kind of partner you would like. For me, in my 20s and up until I got married in my early 30s, it was more of like, I just took whatever came my way. And if someone thought I was cute and was like, hey, I'm like, oh, maybe, you know, like not that I accepted everyone, but I always went into the relationship like, is this what I really want? Oh, but he's nice and things like that. No. Then I really got strict. I was like, this is who I want. And I'm not talking about he needs to make 6 figures, he needs to live here, and he needs to have a Lamborghini. That's shallow. If you want those things, that's fine. The height thing, I'm sorry, that is a standard for me. They need to be over 6'2" and stuff like that. And that's a non-negotiable for me. That's my preference. And when I really got clear on that, I found whoever I really needed to be with. And it was someone who loved themselves, because that's what I wanted and that's what I got. And so he allowed me to be myself and go through that journey because he had already went through it. But if you're with someone who doesn't love themselves, then you don't love yourself either. Why would you be with someone who doesn't love themselves? How could they love you?
Right.
I realize that this has been almost an hour in this video, but it was a good one. We'll be back. But until then, let us know, what did you think about our conversation? Did it resonate? Did it land? Did we miss anything? Do you want to enlighten us with some of your feedback and insights? feel free to drop a comment. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Until next time, bye. It was nice talking to you all.
Be real.
Be real. Real talk.